Hello dear viewers, welcome to Natural Television News from Ankara in Turkey. My name is Saudam Ganga. I'll bring to you our news headlines in a while. In Afghanistan, more than 170,000 high school graduates throughout the country attended the university entrance exam. A student who graduated from the Afghan Turk Marif Schools Herat Erkek Lisesi in the Turkish Marif Foundation became the first student in the university entrance exam. The success of the Herat Medical Faculty was awarded also to the National Directorate of the Turkish Marif Foundation when he was welcomed by teachers and school administrators and was entertained by Herat Erkek Lisesi where he was educated. Turkey's Marif Foundation in Afghanistan country director Shakir Vojvod said in a statement that the Turkish Marif Foundation has been given, he gave a computer gift to encourage Yusufi. Vojvod also noted that they will take Rashid Yusufi to Turkey and provide education in Turkey. Sudan's ruling military council says it has foiled an attempted coup d'etat. A spokesman, General Jamal Omar, announced on a state television that more than a dozen people had been arrested, among them current and retired officers from the army and the National Intelligence and Security Services. I quote him, "We saw the dangers and threats which have been threatening to the safety and security of this nation by a group of people who refuse the demands of the people," General Omar said. He also added that the coup attempt was aimed at blocking a power-sharing deal, which by it was being finalized between the military council and the pro-democracy demonstrators. It is not clear when that deal will be signed. Burundian refugees in one camp in Tanzania say that the administration there has threatened them with forced repatriation. The refugees say that they would not feel safe if they went back home. The Tanzanian government has denied that there is a plan to send the refugees back home from Nyarugusi camp, which is near the Burundian border. Tanzania has no plan to force Burundian refugees back home, Christina Mwangosi, the ministry's spokesperson, said. More than 200,000 Burundian refugees live in Tanzania. Most of them have fled the unrest of 2015. Police in Nigeria's capital Abuja have used roadblocks and tear gas to try to disperse Shia protesters who have taken to the streets for the third day in a row. Several people have been injured in Thursday's crashes. The members of the pro-Iran Shia Muslim sect and the Islamic movement of Nigeria were demonstrating against the detention of their leader, Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaki. He has been detained since 2015. Burundi's state prosecutor has accused one of the country's main commercial banks of letting money flow to militia groups in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, thereby threatening the security of the East African country. Interbank Burundi denied the accusations in court in the capital Bujumbura on Wednesday. Last week in Bujumbura, two officials of Trust Merchant Bank of the nearby city of Uvira in Democratic Republic of Congo were arrested with $1.5 million in cash from Interbank Burundi to their way to Uvira. In its branch, the court in Bujumbura is to give a verdict in 10 days. A car bomb in Libya hit the funeral of a former military commander in the eastern city of Benghazi. At least 4 people were reported to have been killed and a number of others wounded in the explosion that struck the procession for General Khalifa al-Mismar. There are reports saying leading members of the special forces that General Mismar once commanded under Colonel Gaddafi were at the funeral. Those forces are currently allied to the rogue General Khalifa Haftar, who for the past 3 months has been trying to overthrow the internationally recognized government. Students, entrepreneurs and sports stars are among some 400 representatives of the African diaspora invited to meet French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris as part of an interactive debate on Franco-African relations. France is often accused of perpetuating Francafrique, a term which refers to an exploitative neo-colonial relationship with its former colonies. But Paris hopes to show with the Elysee Palace event that is ready to embrace a more modern approach in its dealing with the continent. Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo, who is on an official visit to France, also attended today's event alongside dozens of French politicians. At least 37 people were injured on board in an Air Canada flight that hit several turbulence and had to make an emergency landing. The plane carrying 284 passengers and crew was traveling from Vancouver to Sydney but was diverted to Hawaii. 30 people were taken to hospital in Honolulu on Thursday. 9 had several injuries, officials say. Air Canada said the Boeing 777-200 jet encountered sudden clear air turbulence 2 hours past Hawaii. He also added that it was arranging hotels in Honolulu until a new flight to Australia could be arranged. A woman in the U.S. state of Texas has been arrested after her mother's remains were found in the 2-bedroom home she shared with her daughter. Police believed the grandmother, 71, suffered a fall in 2016. They alleged her daughter, 47, failed to provide adequate help at the time for her mother, who died within a few days of the non-life-threatening fall. The daughter has been placed in the care of the relatives and is receiving assistance from Child Protection. Her mother could face up to 20 years in jail and a fine up to $10,000. Police say the grandmother was a respected member of the local community, working as a secretary and a teaching assistant at a local school for 35 years. When she retired, she worked correcting tickets at a sporting event in Seguin. More than 60 birds have died after falling from the sky in a suspected case of poisoning in South Australia, the rescuers say. The animals, 2 species of corella, were discovered near a sports ground in Adelaide on Tuesday and Wednesday. At least 57 of the birds were long-barred corellas, which is protected species. The deaths are being investigated by government departments. Some of the birds were found in distress and taken to 2 veterinarians, but they were unable to be saved. The State Department for Environment and Water said the cause was not yet confirmed. Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu and the delegation accompanied him while he visited Anıtkabir, the mausoleum of Turkish Republic's founder Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, in Ankara, in Turkey, on Thursday. A total of 70 irregular migrants of Afghan and Bangladesh origin, including 16 women and 15 children who had entered Turkey illegally, were held during military police forces patrolling in the Başkale district of Turkey's eastern Van province. Veysel Eroğlu, Turkey's special envoy to Iraq, on Thursday chaired a meeting to discuss an action plan to solve water-related issues in Iraq Addressing a meeting in the Turkish parliament, Erol, who is also Forestry and Water Affairs Minister, said that he has submitted a proposal to President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. He said our president wants to improve relations with Iraq. He has personally looked into our action plan. He has assured to work on the plan, said Erol, a lawmaker from Afyon Karahisar in western Turkey. German Chancellor Angela Merkel and new Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen attended a joint press conference at the Chancellery on Thursday in Berlin, Germany. Frederiksen, a social democrat, became prime minister following Danish parliamentary elections on June 5th that gave an alliance of left-wing and centrist parties a majority. A British court sentenced former leader of the racist group English Defence League Tommy Robinson to 9 months in prison for contempt of court. Robinson, whose real name is Stephanie Yaxel Lennon, was jailed for 13 months last year over charges of contempt of court when he filmed the defendants in a criminal court and published the footage online. But after serving part of this sentence, he was released from prison based on a rule of the Court of Appeal. Fifth session of the Russian-Turkish Public Forum started in St. Petersburg yesterday. Speaking to the opening ceremony, co-chairman of the Turkish side of the forum, Ahmet Berat Konkar, reminded that the relations between Turkey and Russia have a very long history and he also stated that this relationship has become multidimensional. Konkar called Russia a valuable partner of Turkey and highlighted the role of Russian and Turkish presidents in building strong ties between the two countries. He praised Russian-Turkish cooperation in energy, defense, and economy and emphasized the importance of the humanitarian ties. He also said there is a high number of marriages between Turks and Russians and mutual tourism. Britain's Foreign Secretary said on Thursday that there must be confidence that the person who ordered the murder in Istanbul last fall of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi faces justice. Jeremy Hunt said that that murder was completely against the values of their country, he said. He also said we raised it in the highest levels with the king and the crown prince and the foreign minister of Saudi Arabia. Hunt said a process is going on in Saudi Arabia at the moment and people have been arrested in relation to this terrible murder. Concerns about Germany Chancellor Angela Merkel's health have increased on Thursday as she needed a chair and couldn't stand still for long during a public ceremony in Berlin. Merkel greeted visiting Danish Prime Minister with military honors at the Chancellery, but she had to sit on a chair while the national anthems were played. Her Danish counterpart, Mette Frederiksen, sat down next to her at the ceremony. The German Chancellor suffered a similar bout of trembling on June 18th when she was receiving Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Berlin. On June 27, she was seen shaking for a second time during a swearing-in ceremony at the presidency. Thank you so much for being with us. Natural Television News from Ankara in Turkey. You can check our social medias or send us a message on WhatsApp number written on your screen. My name is Sauda Mganga. Thanks for watching.